In this week's Torah portion of Parshat Vaera, we learn something that relates both to last week's Parsha and in this week's Parsha that may seem very elemental, very fundamental, but nonetheless it is extremely pertinent and extremely important. And that is as follows. We know that Moshe, and we certainly credit it to his modesty, was delaying and not prepared, not wholeheartedly prepared to go on the mission of taking Bnei Yisrael, the Jewish people, out of Egypt. And we all credit that to his modesty, to his humility, to understanding his place. And I get that. But let us understand, ultimately, he is convinced that he should go. Now, obviously, if God talks to you directly and says, this is what you have to do, I think all of us would, in the end of the day, consequently be persuaded as such. But what was the final absolute point that convinced Moshe that he should absolutely do this? What gave him that confidence, if you may? And if you look at it, the Torah tells us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him another number of signs. The staff turning into the snake, his hand that turned into leprosy, and so on and so forth. And these miracles would assist him, but that's not what convinced him. Ultimately, both in last week's Parsha, it says, God gets angry at Moshe, and he says, Halo Aaron achicha halevi yadati ki daber yedaber hu. Aaron your brother, will go out. He will come out to you. He will greet you, and he will indeed assist you in speaking to Paro. And then again, in this week's Parsha, it is repeated, and it says, Hu Aaron Moshe, asher amar Hashem lahem hotziu et bnei Yisrael me'eretz Mitzrayim. God says, Ata tedaber, it is Aaron and Moshe together as a team. Ata tedaber, God says to Moshe, et kol asher atzavecha, everything that I have commanded you. Ve'Aaron achicha yedaber el Paro. And know this, Aaron, again, achicha, your brother, will be there for you to speak to Paro. In other words, this is a very important lesson for us to learn. In the end of the day, a person to really establish confidence needs a brother. Not necessarily a brother as a sibling. We all need a friend. A friend is something or someone that can infuse and instill inside of us an amazing amount of confidence, an amazing amount of positivity. It can absolutely be the deal breaker between our progress and our regression. Friend makes the whole difference. And in fact, it's interesting. In today's Israeli modern society, when friends refer to one another, societies, social parameters, they call each other achi. We say to each other, Ma shlomcha achi, ma shlomecha achoti, achi, my brother. We always refer to it in society in Israel. And a brother, achi, is actually referring to a friend. What God says to Moshe ultimately is, yes, I can give you all the signs in the world and all the miracles in the world, and it's wondrous, it's fantastical. But Moshe is not convinced. He is not sure that he can do this against Paro until he's given a achi, a friend, a brother, someone who can be there to hold his hand, someone who can infuse inside of him that ultimate worth and value and confidence to understand that, yes, indeed, he is capable of fulfilling this meaningful task. The same thing goes with the people around us, and certainly the same thing goes with people who are suffering, going through challenges and going through mental health issues. Let us understand, all of the therapies, all of the medications, all of those are extremely important, obviously. But what might not be so obvious is how important it is to have an achi, a brother, a friend. A friend can make the whole difference in giving that person confidence. There's someone here who still believes in me. There's someone here who will escort me. There's someone here who will validate my feelings. There's someone here who will not leave my side. This is something that we must remember in every walk of our lives. Friends are impactful. Just one Aaron can make that whole difference. This is the Torah way. It is the Parsha's way. And it always has been and will be the Gila way. Shabbat Shalom.